Picture this. Habs faithful. The Montreal Canadiens, a team on the precipice of true contention, are looking to solidify their blue line with a veteran presence who brings physicality, leadership, and a much-needed right shot. The offseason is upon us, and with it, the tantalizing prospect of free agency. The Athletics' Arpon Basu has thrown a compelling name into the ring. Jacob Trouba, the former New York Rangers captain, now with the Anaheim Ducks. Should Kent Hughes make a decisive push for the 32-year-old blue liner if he hits the market? Let's dive deep into this potential move, dissect what it means for our defensive core, and rigorously assess whether Trouba is a precise missing piece for our Stanley Cup ambitions. This isn't just about adding a player. It's about making a strategic, high-impact decision that could define our immediate future. Let's set the stage with the current landscape of our defensive unit. The Canadiens boast a dynamic, young core on the blue line, spearheaded by the offensive wizardry of Lane Hutson and the increasingly steady, top-pairing presence of Noah Dobson. However, as Basu astutely points out, there remains persistent right-left imbalance, a structural vulnerability that can be exploited by elite offensive teams. Furthermore, the developmental trajectory and immediate NHL readiness of highly touted prospect David Reinbacher, while promising, still carry an element of uncertainty. This leaves a potential, albeit temporary, gap in our defensive structure. We've seen Kent Hughes actively, almost aggressively, try to acquire a physical, right-shot defenseman at the trade deadline, a clear and unambiguous signal of an organizational need. Trouba, a seasoned right-shot blue liner renowned for his bruising physicality, shot-blocking prowess, and established leadership, fits this precise mold. This isn't merely a theoretical suggestion. It's a strategic target, a potential solution for a team meticulously building toward a championship, seeking to fortify its back end against the relentless pressures of playoff hockey. Now, let's meticulously dissect Trouba's on-ice performance, particularly his most recent season with the Anaheim Ducks. At 32 years old, it's a fair assessment to say he's past the peak of his offensive prime. The days of being a consistent 40 to 50-point producer are likely behind him. However, he unequivocally demonstrated this past year that he can still be an immensely impactful top-four defenseman, especially in a role that emphasizes defensive responsibility and physical engagement. In 81 games with the Ducks, he recorded a respectable 10 goals, 25 assists, and 35 points. But the numbers that truly resonate for the Canadiens' needs are his defensive metrics, a staggering 143 hits and an equally impressive 149 block shots. These statistics don't just speak to physicality. They scream defensive commitment, a relentless willingness to sacrifice his body, and an unwavering presence in the dirty areas of the ice. Qualities that are not merely valuable, but absolutely indispensable in the crucible of playoff hockey. He is a warrior, a player who consistently makes opponents pay a tangible price every single time they dare to venture into his defensive zone. This is precisely the kind of veteran grit, the battle-hardened experience, that could provide a significant immediate and tangible boost to our blue line, transforming it from strong to truly formidable. Let's meticulously analyze the strategic fit within the Canadian system. Trouba's proven ability to perform effectively in a top-four role and his consistent contributions on the penalty kill make him an exceptionally attractive option. Imagine the possibilities. Picture him paired with dynamic, puck-moving defensemen like Lane Hutson. This pairing would allow Hutson the freedom to fully unleash his offensive creativity, knowing that Trouba is reliably handling the heavy lifting defensively, providing a secure safety net. Alternatively, envision him anchoring our second pairing, bringing a much-needed physical edge that perfectly complements our younger, more skilled defensemen, allowing him to play with greater confidence and aggression. Even if, for strategic reasons, he were to slot into our bottom pairing, his leadership, his wealth of experience, and his uncompromising physical style will be an immense asset, particularly for a team with legitimate Stanley Cup aspirations. He's a proven leader, having worn the C for the New York Rangers, and that kind of veteran presence, that voice of experience in a locker room, is invaluable in guiding a young, talented roster through the inevitable challenges of a deep playoff run. Basu, in his analysis, rightly acknowledges that securing Trouba might be a long shot, and there's a genuine possibility he might not ultimately choose Montreal. However, if he does indeed hit the open market, Kent Hughes should launch an aggressive and compelling pursuit. The Canadiens currently possess roughly $10 million in projected cap space for next season, providing us with the necessary financial flexibility to table a highly competitive contract offer, a short to medium-term deal, perhaps a 2 or 3 year commitment, would allow us to inject a crucial veteran presence without the long-term risk associated with an aging player. This isn't about building our entire future around Trouba. It's about acquiring a critical, high-impact piece for our immediate present, a player who can unequivocally help us win now, while simultaneously allowing our younger defensemen to continue their crucial developmental trajectories without undue pressure. It's a calculated, strategic investment in our championship window. Let's consider a profound impact this acquisition could have on our current roster dynamics. Adding Trouba would not only solidify our right side, but would also provide a desperately needed physical presence, effectively balancing our inside pairings and making us significantly tougher to play against. Crucially, it would alleviate immense pressure from young defensemen like David Reinbacher, allowing him the invaluable time and space to develop at his own pace, without being prematurely thrust into a top-4 role before he's truly ready. Trouba's presence would also enable other defensemen to play in their most natural and effective positions, fostering a more balanced, cohesive, and ultimately more effective blue line. His extensive experience on the penalty kill, a unit that demands discipline and physicality, would be an enormous asset, particularly against the high-powered offenses we will inevitably face in the grueling rounds of playoffs. The counter-argument, of course, is a valid one and must be thoroughly addressed. Trouba's age and the inherent risk of decline. At 32, he is undeniably past his absolute prime, and there is always an inherent risk that a veteran player's performance could decline sharply. His contract demands would also be a critical factor. We must avoid overpaying for a player who, while impactful, might only have a few truly elite years left. However, for a team like the Canadiens, who are demonstrably pushing their chips to middle, aiming for a Stanley Cup in the immediate future, a short-term deal for a proven leader and physical defenseman represents a calculated risk that is absolutely worth taking. This isn't about building for the next decade. It's about strategically optimizing our roster to win in the next 2 or 3 years, capitalizing on the prime years of our core players. So, here's the tough question that demands an answer from a Habs faithful. If Jacob Trouba hits the free agent market this offseason, should Kent Hughes aggressively pursue him on a short to medium-term deal, even if it means committing a significant portion of our cap space to a 32-year-old defenseman? Or should we prioritize internal development and trust our current prospects to organically fill the physical right-shot void, potentially delaying our championship window? What's your call, veteran grit and immediate impact, or patient development and long-term potential? I want to hear your takes, your passionate arguments, your strategic insights. Let's get the debate roaring louder than the Bell Center crowd during a Game 7. As we look ahead to the offseason and the myriad opportunities it presents, the idea of Jacob Trouba in a Canadiens jersey is a tantalizing prospect, one that speaks directly to our aspirations. He brings the physicality, the leadership, and the crucial right-shot presence that could undeniably solidify our blue line and propel us closer to hoisting the Stanley Cup. If you're as excited as I am about the potential of this move and the thrilling trajectory of our future, smash that like button to show your unwavering Habs pride. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because we're diving deep into every rumor, every trade, every strategic decision, every single step toward the Cup. Let's keep the passion for the Bleu, Blanc, ET Rouge burning bright, a beacon of hope and determination. Until the next update, keep the faith. We are building something truly unstoppable.